Here we go, 1973 FJ40. But before I get right into detail on this one, I got a lot of stick at the last walk around because people are used to seeing me in short shorts and I'm wearing jeans. I will never wear jeans again. That's better. I'm more comfortable and a few of you at home are a little bit turned on. So now, back to 1973 FJ40. This one has a big history that I know about because I know the new owner, I know the previous owner, and the previous owner, Rob Savage, is the one to give me all the details about its history. So this one, we believe it started life, it had two owners in Wollongong, beautiful Wollongong. I've been there in New South Wales, and that's where we know its history, that it actually has now. That's where it had a V8 put in it, but back then it was a totally different rig to what you're seeing now. It was green, it was a soft top. The work wasn't done quite to the quality of Rob's satisfaction, so things changed a lot. And then from Wollongong and its second owner down there, it come up to Coffs Harbour, where Rob then decided that it's time to tear it down and do it properly. Now Rob doesn't own this anymore, but he does own another two. I believe one's for sale and he's not selling his ute, so he is a Landcruiser man and he's a hands-on guy. So hands-on. He had some of the mechanical help, but he did this. He was a customer back in the day when Mr. Landcruiser was just me in my house yard, and that's where our relationship and our friendship started. So back in those days, it was used parts and wrecks were abundant. So I sold Rob the hard top to make it a hard top because he received it as a soft top. I sold Rob that windscreen. Now that windscreen is off a 1965 wreck that I had. How can I remember? Rob reminded me, but also if we have a look at the vent on there, that's finished, that little vent to let the air in, finished in 1965. That was the end of road for that one. There's other things. I remember a heater, I remember a 5-speed that I sold Rob. So a lot of the Mr. Landcruiser stuff went into this. Why did he want a 5-speed? Because it had the 350. She's got the 350 in there now. Also underneath we have remote res shocks, and he's put a LSD in the rear of this one, so it's got all the power, climb hills, and the LSD helps a lot too. Now when Rob took this on, he took it on properly, full teardown to the chassis. He sent the motor away, had it rebuilt, and then it was a full nut and bolt, a lot of new parts, all your new seals and rubbers and everything. Again, a lot of support from Mr. Landcruiser, very grateful Rob. And he did the full nut and bolt resto. But again, he's got a few of them, so he decided it was time to keep his favourite and pass this one on. So now this one lives in the sunny coast, the Sunshine Coast, and that's what brings it to Mr. Landcruiser. So we've done a few things on it. I'll go into detail shortly, but let's have a look at the outside. It's retained the factory bumper, but someone's galvanised it and dipped it and given it a look. Otherwise, we're going for period items where we can. The rims are a sunraiser, but everything else, your mirrors, your indicators, it's all been kept period. And he's done a bloody lovely job. What we'll do, there's a bit to talk about what Mr. Landcruiser has done to this one, and also about the engine, what Rob's done as well. Let's have a closer look under the engine. Might even fire it up. Doesn't it sound sick? Let's give it a few revs. Oh yeah, daddy. Now let's kill it. Everybody wants a 350. Well, this one was a 350. It's been worked on. It's now a 363 small block, Rob tells me. So she's a little bit more lumpier. And he's had the engine done, completely done. And we'll have a look at the clock when we go inside. The clock matches the motor. So when he did the resto, the new motor, he put a new cluster in there, and that cluster represents how many Ks the motor's done now. I think it's around 10,000 Ks. So that doesn't leave a car like this when it's booked in a great deal for Mr. Landcruiser to do because it's so fresh. But we do our report. We did find a few little niggles. We addressed the niggles, and there's something else massive we've done inside, which we'll lead to. Also, it now lives in Queensland. So we've gone through and mod plated everything because there's been A lot of changes to the steering. This is an Astra pump, so it's got the power steer now. It has the disc brakes now. It has a 5-speed now, which changed the brakes on the rear from a 1973 as well, the handbrake. It has the engine conversion, and we've done a sneaky seat conversion, which we'll have a look at in a minute. So we've done all the engineering, and we've done the roadworthy. We've tidied up a few little wobbles along the way, and now it's ready to go home. It's done, we're done. So this is it under the hood. Again, every panel off, it's been torn right down. She's a bit dusty because it has done 10,000 Ks. Rob's used it, and now the new guy just can't wait to get back in it. This is bloody lovely. It's nice and dark and cool in here. It sets quite the romantic mood in here. I wish I had a drink and my lovely lady, and we could drive off into the sunset in this bad boy. Now inside, I said it's dark. We've got all the black interior down the bottom. No bull flooring, black carpet, and roof lining, black carpet to match the black seats. Now these front seats were already in here, but if we have a look, it's got quite a cool, no drugs, no sandwiches, it's got quite a cool console. Now Rob told me this console was, it's an aftermarket one made for a Land Rover, but when he sized it up, it fit perfectly in here. He found it online. He thinks all 4x4, but he wasn't too sure, so he found it online. He fitted it in, and it worked a treat. So that's lovely. It's got cup holders on there. Oh, I was going to move to the dash, but while we're talking seats, behind me is the tech safe seats, and that's the reason it was brought into Mr. Landcruiser, one of the major reasons. So now behind me we can fit 2 bums, we've got armrests, we've got integrated seat belts, we've got integrated child restraints. So there's no modifying the car with TechSafe. You can go on their website. I think these ones are called XL Standard, and they're made for a Daihatsu or something, but this is the ones we use, and you can't just go online and buy them. You have to let them know who your engineer is, or it has to be a workshop. There's no prices or anything, but they've got the headrests. They're just a beautiful bit of gear. They sit up quite high, but because they're high, even at my height, I don't hit my head because my legs can drop down. So just a lot of room in there. Now the new owner, he has a family, and there's no point buying a shorty and not bringing up your kids in the back of this thing. So the seats were a big high priority for this and the roadworthy. Now we'll come back up the front. Got the little sports wheel made for chunkers like me, heaps of room. And the dash itself, still bloody beautiful. Not too many holes added, a couple. I don't know what these little things are. Oh, it's a cup holder. I thought one's broken. I was wondering what it was, but so this thing's got now multiple cup holders. And while I'm looking up here, this is so cool. We don't get too many of these in, but this little knob here, it just adjusts the windscreen flap at the front, or you can open it up, and that just allows the cool air to come in while you're driving. And it does have a little a bug catcher, like a fly screen in there, little genuine part, in excellent condition. I believe I sold him that with it, and that's all in great working order. Rob's freed it all up. Pretty much the interior. The clock says 13,500, so that's how many Ks are on that engine now since the rebuild. And he's utilised a hole in the dash and put an aftermarket tacho in there, and it's come up very, very nice. That's the interior of this one. It's just plain and simple, but now we've got extra seats, dark, sets the mood for romance. So Rob did tell me he couldn't have done this build without the people at Coffs Harbour called Advanced Mechanical Services Coffs Harbour. They really helped him pull this together. I had to give him a shout out because they understood the old Landcruiser and made it all work. So a big shout out to them. Also, while I was inside, as I'm hopping out, I had a sneaky look and I noticed the seat frames are custom. They're custom because underneath is a dual fuel that goes the full length of the floor. So the big V8 petrol, you can sneak a little bit extra fuel in there. Future plans, Neil. Congratulations, Neil, the new owner. He can come pick it up now and enjoy it. And more importantly, the whole goal was to get his family in there, enjoy it up the sunny coast, drive up and down the boulevard, look as cool as shit. Well, he can do that now. The job's done. We'll throw some Queensland number plates on it and it can leave Mr. Landcruiser. Good work, boys. 1973 FJ40.